Andrew's Doers. Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time there lived a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 3 ugly, mean stepsisters named Tina, Winona, and Una. Tina, Winona, and Una made Cinderella do all the chores. Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Tina, Winona, and Una all together. One day, the king of Doubleburg's messenger said, Hear ye, the king of Doubleburg, his majesty, is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and cross shall marry his son, Prince Twinning. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsister, Tina said, he's going to marry me. Winona said, no way, Tina, he's going to marry me. Una said, both of you are wrong, he's going to marry me. Later, Cinderella is very sad that she cannot go to the ball and marry Prince Twinning. And her fairy godmother asks Cinderella what's wrong by saying, why are you crying, Cinderella? Cinderella responds, and sadly, I wanted to go to the ball and marry Prince Twinning. Her fairy godmother said, I can help with a bit of double magic. She waves her magic wand and chants the magic words, dibbly dabbly dobbly doo. And all of Cinderella's chores are done, but the fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Cinderella, fetch me a pumpkin. Luckily, Cinderella has 2 pumpkins. The fairy godmother waves her magic wand and chants the magic words, dibbly dabbly dobbly doo. Again, turning the 2 pumpkins into a handsome coach drawn by 2 strong horses, and then Cinderella's clothes into a gown and crown. I've never seen such a double-tasted gown. And get a lot of my glass slippers. Cinderella is now ready for the ball. Her fairy godmother said, have fun, Cinderella, but I would warn you. Return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Twinning was wondering who he should marry. Cinderella, of course. Tina, Winona, and Una shout out together, he's walking towards me! But he's not. But he is walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Twinning danced happily together. But later, Cinderella realized it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. Prince Twinning was so worried, afraid that she might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled all around Doubleburg to find her, and brought the 2 glass slippers with him. He knocked on the door where Cinderella, Tina, Winona, and Una lived. But instead of Cinderella, he found Tina, Winona, and Una. Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on these 2 glass slippers? Prince Twinning asks. Tina is first, but her feet are too big. Winona is next, but her feet are too small. Una is last, but her feet aren't the right size either. Suddenly, Prince Twinning noticed Cinderella's sweet singing. Cinderella shouts excited, Prince Twinning, is that you? Prince Twinning responded, of course it's me. You are from my father's ball. I love you. Will you marry me? Cinderella gets so excited because she's happy to have Prince Twinning back. And they both lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrews Doers. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and buy our merchandise. Take care. Bye. Oh, yeah. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella. What? Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 4 ugly, mean stepsisters named Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ramona. Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ramona made Cinderella do all the chores. Sweep the floors. Wash the dishes. Do it all. Said Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ramona all together. One day, the king of Quadrillion Hand's messengers said, Hear ye! Hear ye! The king of Quadrillion Hand is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince 14. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. He's going to marry me, said Fiona. Ophelia said, No way, Fiona! He's going to marry me. Ursula said, Both of you are wrong! He's going to marry me. Ramona said, All 3 of you are wrong! He's going to marry me. Later, Cinderella is so sad because she can't go to the ball and marry Prince 14, while her fairy godmother asks her what's wrong by saying, Why are you crying, Cinderella? Cinderella responds, I got lots of chores to be done. I can't go to the ball and marry Prince 14. Cinderella's fairy godmother said, I can help with a bit of magic. Cinderella's fairy godmother chants the magic words. Quiddity, quaddity, quaddity, quoo! And waves her magic wand. Because of that, all of Cinderella's chores are all done. But Cinderella's fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Cinderella, go fetch me a pumpkin. Luckily, Cinderella has 4 pumpkins. Cinderella's fairy godmother said, and then chants the magic words. Quiddity, quaddity, quaddity, quoo, and waves her magic wand to turn the 4 pumpkins into a handsome coach drawn by 8 strong horses. And then, Cinderella's closer to a gathered crowd. Cinderella said, I've never seen such a quad-tastic gown! And get a lot of my glass slippers, her fairy godmother said. Have fun, mighty Cinderella. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken, and everything will turn back to the way it was before. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince 14 was wondering who he should marry. Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ramona said all together, He's walking towards me! But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince 14 dance happily together. But later, Cinderella realizes something is midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. Prince 14 was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled all around Quadrillion to find her. But the 2 tiny glass slippers with him. He knocked on the door of the home where Forella and her stepsisters live, but instead of Forella, he finds Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ramona. He then said, "Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can you try on these glass slippers? Fiona is first, but her feet are too big." Ophelia said, "But her feet are too small." Ursula and Ramona did the same thing, but their feet don't fit either. Suddenly, Prince 14 notices Swarla's sweet singing. "The glass slippers fit!" Forella gets so excited because she's happy to have her Prince 14 back. And they both lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And if you want to see some sequels, tell your friends about it. And then, take care, Andrew Stores. Bye. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 22 It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a plot twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, in a faraway land in Dual Vegetableberg, there was a young adult girl named 22 22 had 9 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Tina, Winona, Elena, Nina, Tanya, Irina, Tasha, Wilma, and Olivia. Oh, 9 of them constantly made fun of 22 and made her do all the chores. 22 wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all! Said Tina, Winona, Elena, Tanya, Irina, Tasha, Winona, and Olivia all together. And then one day, the Kia Duo Vegetableberg's messenger arrives and says, hear ye, the king of Dual Vegetableberg, his royal majesty is going to throw a ball. And whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Dual Vegetabling. Can I come? Asks 22 but she's not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are Tina, Winona, Elena, Nina, Tanya, and Irina. Tasha, Winona, and Olivia are overjoyed. They ran with huge excitement and picked out dresses to wear to the ball. Later, 22 is so sad, distraught, and upset about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Duo Vegetabling. Whatever will I do? She whimpers. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and comforts her. There now, my dear 22 I can help with a bit of magic. No one will know it's you. And so, she chants the magic words. Surprise, surprise, among the shores. Magic wand, do all the chores. And waves her magic wand. And not a minute too soon. 22's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother says she's not done yet. She says, 22 go fetch me a pumpkin and some ice. And your tiny little friends. Luckily, 22 has 22 pumpkins and 44 mice. 22's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 22 pumpkins into a handsome coach, the 44 mice into horses, and then 22's weird clothes into a gown and crown. 22 says, I've never seen such a dual vegetable-tastic gown. and get it out of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? And climbs into the couch. 22rella's fairy godmother said, well, 22rella, you can't, but have fun, and I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will turn back to normal. And so, 22rella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Dual Vegetabiling was wondering who he should marry. Wondering who to marry? Prince Dual Vegetabiling, my son? Asks the king of Dual Vegetableburg. To which 22 Vegetabiling, he says, yes, father. Prince Dual Vegetabiling, you're going to marry me, said Tina, the oldest stepsister. No way, Tina, wrong. Prince Dual Vegetabiling, you're going to marry me, said Winona. Both of you are wrong. Prince Dual Vegetabiling, you're going to marry me, said Elena. The rest say, all three of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Prince Dual Vegetabiling, you're going to marry me. But Prince Dual Vegetabiling angrily denies the request. 22rella, I will rise at the ball just in time. Prince Dual Vegetabiling sees her, walks up to her and says, you must be 22rella. May I please have this dance? 22rella responds, yes! 22rella and Prince Dual Vegetabiling dance happily together. But later, 22rella realized it's almost midnight. So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. The next day, the king of Dual Vegetableburg and Prince Dual Vegetabiling tried to find 22rella, who captured Prince Dual Vegetabiling's heart and brought the 2 glass slippers she lost with them. By the time they arrive, Prince Dual Vegetabiling knocks on the door of the house where 22rella and her 9 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 22rella, they find her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters, Tina and Olivia. Prince Dual Vegetabiling then says, ladies, my father, the king of Dual Vegetableburg, and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slippers? Tina is first, but her foot is too big. Winona is next, but her foot is too small. Nonsense! It fits! She said. The rest did the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, the king of Dual Vegetableburg and Prince Dual Vegetabiling noticed 22rella is sweet singing. Prince Dual Vegetabiling, is that you? She hollered excitedly. Prince Dual Vegetabiling says, of course it's me. I love you. Will you marry me? And the glass slipper fits. And so, Prince Dual Vegetabiling and the king of Dual Vegetableburg, 22rella, lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrew Stewards. Don't forget to subscribe, like it, share, and buy our merchandise at entertainment.com. Take care. Bye. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 24rella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a plot twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, in a faraway land named Quadror Vegetabilingham, there was a young adult girl named 24rella. 24rella had 10 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Tasha, Winona, Elena, Nina, Tanya, Yadina, Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ruby. All 10 of them constantly made fun of 24rella and always made her do all the chores. 24, wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all! said Tusher to Ruby altogether. One day, the king of Quadrivigitumlingham's messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, hear ye! The king of Quadrivigitumlingham, his royal majesty, is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Quadrivigitumling. Can I come? Asks 24rella, but she's not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. He's going to marry me, said Tasha, the oldest stepsister, but her younger sisters disagree. They even tear 24rella's best party dress. Later, 24rella is so sad, distraught and upset about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Quadrivigitumling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and comforts 24rella. There, now, my dear 24rella, she said, I'll fix everything for you. Nobody wants you. She then waves her magic wand. Because of that, 24rella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, 24rella, go fetch me a pumpkin and your tiny friends, the mice. Luckily, 24rella has 24 pumpkins of 48 mice. 24rella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 24 pumpkins into a handsome coach, into the 48 mice into horses, and fixes 24rella's natural dress and makes it bigger and better. 24rella said, I've never seen such a quadrivigitumtastic gown. And get a load of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? And climbs into the coach. Well, 24rella's fairy godmother says, well, you can't. But have fun, 24rella, my dear. But I will warn you. Return home before midnight or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before, and gave her a clock to tell her what time it is. And so, 24rella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, the king at Quadrivigitumlingham says, Good evening, everyone. Prince Quadrivigitumling was wondering who he should marry. Isn't that right, son? To which Prince Quadrivigitumling responds, Yes, father. Suddenly, 24rella arrived at the ball just in time. He's walking towards me, said Tasha, Winona, Elena, Nina, Tanya, Yadina, Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ruby all together. But Prince Quadrivigitumling is not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards 24rella. He then says, You must be 24rella. May I please have this dance? In which 24rella says, Yes, I would be delighted. And so, 24rella and Prince Quadrivigitumling dance happily together. But later, 24rella checks her clock and it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. The next day, by the time the ball's over, Prince Quadrivigitumling was really worried that he might never see 24rella again. Thinking Quadrivigitumling says, There now, son. I think we'll be able to find 24rella. And so, the king at Quadrivigitumlingham and Prince Quadrivigitumling began their journey all around the neighborhood to find her, and brought the 2 glass slippers she lost with them. By the time they arrived at her home, they knocked on the door of the house where 24rella and her 10 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 24rella, Prince Quadrivigitumling then says, Ladies, my father, the king of Quadrivigitumlingham, And I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slippers? Tasha is first, but her foot is too big. Winona is next, but her foot is too small. Nonsense! It fits, she said. The rest are the same, but none of the feet are the right size either. Suddenly, the king of Quadrivigitablingham and Prince Quadrivigitabling, known as 24L, is singing. Your Majesty and Prince Quadrivigitabling, is that you guys? She heard excitedly. The glass slippers fit, and 24L, the king of Quadrivigitabling, and the Prince Quadrivigitablingham lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrews Doers. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and Andrew Does Everything, and buy our merchandise at AndrewDoesEverything.com. And if you want to see some sequels, tell your friends about it. And take care. Bye. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 42-erella. It is based on the story of Cinderella, with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young adult girl named 42-erella. 42-erella had 8 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Farah, Olivia, Ramona, Tanya, Yvonne, Tasha, Winona, and Una. All 8 of them constantly made fun of 42-erella and made her do all the chores. 42, wench, sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said the ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters all together. One day, the king of 42 birds' messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, hear ye! The king of 42 Berg is going to throw a ball and with lots of food at 9 o'clock. And 11 o'clock is dance time. And whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Quadrivigitabling. Can I come? Asked 42-erella, but she's not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters Farah to Una are. He's going to marry me, said Farah, the oldest stepsister. No way, Farah. Wrong, he's going to marry me, said Olivia. Both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me, said Ramona. The rest say, all 3 of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Later, 42-erella is so sad, upset, and distraught about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Quadrivigitabling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and comforts her. There now, 42-erella. I can help with a bit of magic. Nobody will know it's you. And so, she waves her magic wand. And because of that, all 42-erella's chores are all done, and her best party dress is fixed and made bigger and better. 42-erella says, I've never seen such a quadrivigitablistic gown, and get a load of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? But 42-erella's fairy godmother is not done yet, she said. 42-erella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice. Luckily, 42-erella has 42 pumpkins and 84 mice. 42-erella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 42 pumpkins into a handsome coach and the 84 mice into horses. 42-erella climbs into the coach. Her fairy godmother says, have fun, 42-erella, but I will warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken, and everything will change back to normal. And so, 42-erella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Dua Quadrigen Toppling was wondering who he should marry. Son, wondering who to marry, son? Asks the king of 42 Burg, in which Prince Dua Quadrigen Toppling says, yes, father, I don't know who. Suddenly, 42 Arella arrives at the ball just in time. Farah, Olivia, Ramona, Tanya, Yvonne, Tasha, Winona, and Una say all together, he's walking towards me! But he's not walking towards any of them. Prince Dua Quadrigen Toppling is walking towards 42 Arella. He then asks, May I please have this dance? I would be delighted, said 42 Arella. Prince Dua Quadrigen Toppling and 42 Arella dance happily together. But later, 42 Arella realized it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. Prince Dua Quadrigen Toppling was so worried that he might never see 42 Arella again. The king of 42 Burgs comforted him by saying, There, now, son. I think we'll be able to find 42 Arella, he said. And so, they began their journey all around the neighborhood to find her and brought the 2 glass slippers she lost with them. By the time they arrive, they knock on the door of the house where 42 Arella and her 8 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters, Tina to Ona, Farah to Una live. But instead of 42 Arella, they find Farah to Una. They then say, Prince Dua Quadrigen Toppling, ladies, my father and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slippers? Farah is first, but her feet are too big. Olivia is next, but her feet are too small. Nonsense! They fit! She said. The rest did the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, the king of 42 Burg and Prince Dua Quadrigen Toppling noticed 42 Arella singing. Prince Dua Quadrigen Toppling and your majesty is going to throw. Is that you guys? The king of 42 Burg exclaims, my dear daughter-in-law, 42 Arella, we found you! And the glass slippers fit. And now, 42 Arella, Prince Quadrigen Toppling, and the king of 42 Burg lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrew's Doers. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and Andrew Does Everything, and buy our merchandise at AndrewDoesEverything.com. Take care. Bye. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 44 Arella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a plot twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young adult girl named 44 Arella. 44 Arella had 9 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Farah, Ophelia, Ramona, Tanya, Yadina, Fiona, Olivia, Ursula, and Reina. All of them constantly made fun of 44 Arella and made her do all the chores. 44 wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all! Said the ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters all together. One day, the king of Quadrigen Toppingham's messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, hear ye! The king of Quadrigen Toppingham, his royal, kind, wise, bold majesty is going to throw a ball. And whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Quadrigen Toppling. Can I come? Asked 44 Arella. But she's not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. He's going to marry me, said Farah, the oldest stepsister, but her younger sisters disagree. They even dare 44rella's best party dress. Later, 44rella is so sad, distraught, and upset about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Quadric Toppling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and comes with 44rella. There, now my dear 44rella, she said, I'll fix everything for you. No one will know it's you. She then waves her magic wand. Because of that, 44rella's chores are done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, 44rella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice. Luckily, 44rella has 44 pumpkins and 88 mice. 44rella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 44 pumpkins into a handsome coach, the 88 mice into horses, fixes 44rella's now torn dress, and makes it bigger and better. 44rella said, I've never seen such a quadric-tastic gown! And get a load of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? 44rella then inclined into the coach. 44rella's fairy godmother said, well, 44rella, my dear, you can't. But have fun. But I will warn you, return home before midnight, where the spell will be broken and everything will change back to normal. And give her a clock to tell her what time it is. And so, 44rella accepts the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, the king at Quadric Tumlingham says, good evening, everyone. Prince Quadric Tumlingham was wondering who he should marry. Isn't that right, son? To which Prince Quadric Tumlingham responds, yes, father. Suddenly, 44rella arrived at the ball just in time. He's walking towards me, said Farah, Olivia, Ophelia, Ramona, Tanya, Irina, Fiona, Olivia, Ursula, and Reina all together. But Prince Quadric Toppling is not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards 44rella. May I have this dance? He then says, in which 44rella says, I was delighted. And so, 44rella and Prince Quadric Toppling dance happily together. But later, 44rella checks her clock and it's almost midnight. So she scurried out of the ball and she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. Prince Quadric Toppling was really worried that he might never see 44rella again. The king of Quadric Tumlingham comforted by saying, There, no, son. I think we'll be able to find 44rella, my dear daughter-in-law. And so, the king of Quadric Tumlingham and Prince Quadric Toppling began their journey all around Quadric Tumlingham to find 44rella, who captured Prince Quadric Tumling's heart and brought the glass slippers she lost with them. By the time they arrived, Prince Quadric Tumbling knocks on the door of the house where 44rella and her 9 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 44rella, they find Farah Terena. He then says, ladies, my father, the king of Quadric Tumlingham, and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on these glass slippers? And Farah is first, but her foot is too big. Ophelia is next, but her foot is too small. Nonsense! It fits! She said. The rest did the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, the king of Quadric Tumlingham and Prince Quadric Toppling noticed 44rella's sweet singing. Your Majesty and Prince Quadric Toppling, is that you guys? she heard excitedly. My dear daughter-in-law, 44rella, we found you! And the glass slippers fit, and 44rella, the king of Quadric Tumbling, and Prince Quadric Tumbling lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrew Stewards. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Knows Everything, and buy our merchandise at andrewknowseverything.com. Take care. Bye.